All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we are now going to talk about Joe Burrow and his road to recovery. So I know I think I said before that he's going to be cleared this month, but it was another M month, May. Sorry, I apologize for that. So he anticipates being completely cleared for full contact by the middle of May during the offseason. He's recovering from surgery to repair a torn wrist ligament in his throwing hand, and that's when he got hurt against the Ravens in Baltimore during the regular season, and it was just a strange thing because people noticed um, the brace. I don't know what the brace, the sling on his, well, not really the sling, but the thing on his hand, and he wasn't listed on the injury report. And then he goes out and plays, and it was a competitive game for a bit, and then he got hurt on the touchdown pass to Joe Mixon. And, then he ended up missing the rest of the regular season, and Jake Browning took over. The Bengals still finished 9-8. They had a chance to make the playoffs, but, fell a little bit short. But, yeah, I mean, that kind of just, basically, put the nail in the coffin on the Bengals season once Burrow got hurt. He does plan to return to full throwing sessions during Cincinnati's organized team activities. So he played in 10 games, completing 66.8% of his passes for 15 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And obviously, dealt with that and the calf injury that affected him in the beginning of the year. And then once he got it, once the calf injury, went away, Burrow got hot. And, the Bengals were looking like the team that they were, the last couple of seasons. And, they beat the Bills. Jamar Chase has that 3-touchdown game against the Cardinals. And, sorry, I was trying to hold back a sneeze. Again, one of the things that happens a lot on the show, or at least once, is me trying to hold back a sneeze. So that was just another one of those instances. But, yeah, Jamar Chase has that 3-touchdown game. Burrow, and the Bengals have that good game against the 49ers, winning by a couple scores. Yeah, they beat the Bills as well. The Bengals looked like one of the best teams in the NFL, and then unfortunately Burrow ends up getting hurt. And I think the wrist injury, I think it goes back to the Texans game the week before that, because I think that's how he aggravated it. And then in the Ravens game, that's when he ended up tearing the ligament. Listen, the Bengals, if they want to get to where they want to go, Joe Burrow's got to be healthy. And, in the beginning of the season, he wasn't. You could tell the Bengals were off. But, he got healthy. And again, Burrow's a tough quarterback, so obviously he played through the calf injury. But, maybe the Bengals could have held him out for a little bit. And then he could have came back, later on in the season. I mean, again, it's a hypothetical, but then he ends up getting the wrist injury, and and then Jake Browning took over. But and the Bengals, they got to figure out long-term extension with T. Higgins, because it seems like they were going to franchise tag him, keep him. You got to work on a long-term deal with Jamar Chase. Tyler Boyd's most likely leaving in free agency. The running back position is going to be something you're going to have to address at some point because, Joe Mixon is getting older. You saw Chase Brown making plays late in the season. But, I mean, if Mixon's not cut this offseason, I mean, it could end up being his final year with the Bengals. So that's something that we'll have to, keep an eye on. But, and with the Bengals, if everybody's healthy, I mean, this team is going to be a force in the AFC. And that's the team that, myself and many others are looking at as the team that could take down Kansas City. And, if that's the case, if everybody's healthy, listen, they've done it. They've done it once. Then the following year they ended up losing, but by 3 points. Every Mahomes Burrow game has, it's come down to, 3 points. So, we'll just have to, we'll have to see if they could do it. Because listen, the Chiefs they're trying to go for a three-peat, and they could definitely do it. They could definitely do it, but this could be one of the teams that stands in their way. This team has the best shot, I think, to do it. The Bills, they've come close, but they just can't seem to get it done. And, the Ravens, the Ravens had their opportunities. They did, and they just could not cash in. But, with a healthy Bengals squad, that's another team that you could throw into the mix. Again, if the Bengals were healthy and they made the playoffs, who knows what would have happened, But, again, that just ended up not happening. And I apologize. My allergies, again, are, acting up. But, again, it happens. Also, yesterday was just a beautiful day where I am. 60 degrees, it's sunny. Because the day before that, it was just all rain. All rain, all day. And then we got warm weather finally. So that was nice to finally experience that. Forgot what it felt like, honestly. So hopefully I could do away with the winter jacket and we move into warmer weather. Just knocked my mic around just now. Yeah, I got to play some basketball yesterday. It was not a good day. It was not a good day though. On the court for me. Defensively, not bad. Offensively, yeah. But it's nice that we got warm weather. So, sorry, went off on a little side tangent there. But yeah, but back to the Bengals stuff. Listen, this team went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. They didn't win, of course, but they could have. They had a shot. When Burrow's healthy, they make it to the AFC Championship game. And, I kept looking at this team as, the best team in the division, even when they were in last place. But, then Burrow, once they really started catching fire, then Burrow got hurt, and that was the end of it. But they still had their chance. They still had a chance to make the playoffs. They did. It's just, they lost to the Steelers. They had a 10-point lead against Kansas City, and they lost that. So, listen, they still finished with a respectable record of 9-8. But, with Burrow, if Burrow was healthy the whole season, they would have won 3 or 4 more games. So, it happens. But, Burrow has gotten hurt before. So, I think next year he'll be healthy. Again, that's just me. Again, that's just me saying that. And I hope he's healthy because, again, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and you don't want to see these guys getting hurt. But that's just what happens. And I still think it's funny how, there were years where Lamar Jackson was the only quarterback that got hurt in the division. In 2023, he was the only healthy quarterback. Was the only healthy quarterback. Where, in years prior, he was the only quarterback that was injured. Now he's the only quarterback that was healthy. So, hopefully we see a healthy Burrow, healthy Lamar next year twice. See some good matchups between those two. So, but again, the Bengals. This is a team that, if everyone's healthy, should make it to the AFC Championship game. Because Buffalo, that window looks like it's closing. I mean, the Ravens, you still got the Ravens, of course. We'll see what the Browns end up being like with the full year of Deshaun Watson and hopefully Nick Chubb. In the AFC East, yeah, the Bills, the Dolphins, even though I look at the Bengals as better than those two teams. The AFC South, though, I mean, let's not forget, C.J. Stroud did beat Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Did do that. So we'll see now Stroud in year 2, because he's going to be playing the Ravens. He's going to be playing the Bills. He's going to be playing the Chiefs. We're going to see Stroud go up against the top quarterbacks in the league. We saw him go up against Lamar Jackson, and yeah, it didn't go so well, both times. But Texans, you figure, are going to be better. That division. Jacksonville's going to want to bounce back, and the Colts, I mean, how many times am I going to say it? So that's why the AFC right now, it's a gauntlet. There are so many teams. Well, we could say there are so many teams, but at the end of the day, it's the Chiefs, and then there's everybody else. So, that's just, again, the Chiefs are in a class of their own, but you got everybody else that's kind of going to be fighting for all those playoff spots. But I'm excited. If everybody's healthy, it's going to be a lot of fun, to watch all those teams. And listen, I also hope that Aaron Rodgers is healthy next year for the Jets, because I want to see him go out on a high note and not like that. And I get that, the Jets, there's so many things going on with the Jets. I mean, now McCall Hardman's coming out and saying that he never leaked any game plans to any of the teams. It's just, and the Jets could be adding 2 more Packers, former Packers, Valdez-Scantling and David Bakhtiari possibly. Well, I'm just saying that. There's no, traction on that, but it's a possibility. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But, yeah, so let me know what you guys think about Burrow's road to recovery. What are your expectations for the Bengals going into next season? So when we come back from our final break of the show, we're going to talk about Brandon Ayuk. And is it possible he's going to be traded? Or, what's going to happen there? I mean, I know there's some conflicting things that I've read. The 49ers want to keep him, but if they're not able to, they could trade him. We'll get into all that when we come back from our final break of the show. So stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.